Okay, wait. Before you start typing misdirected angry comments at me, no, this isn't a video that boils down to medjay bad or pirate OP. She is fucking annoying though, to be fair. So despite medjay releasing to a lukewarm reception, he's actually had one of the smoother hero releases in recent memory. The general consensus with medjay seems to be that he's alright. Now, I haven't played him because I refuse to put any more money into Ubisoft's cold, undying talents.
Don't you think that's weirdly fucked up? So do it.
Do you hear me, Ubisoft? I will not have it. But yeah, I like his design. When he was released, I was like, it's hip, it's now, it's wow. Moves wise, I think he's just missing like a little piece, you know, he just needs a little something in the dual axe form. Now, I'm not interested in talking about his viability in the meta or his frames or anything like that. Blah, 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 blah. That shit's for freaking nerds. I don't even want to talk about his fashion. Shock horror, I know. His fashion is pretty nice, though. In fact, medjay is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what I want to discuss. Points coming, boys, I promise. So in my infinite wisdom, I have now come to the conclusion that the way new heroes are released into the game by Ubisoft are in fact killing for honor. Now, I'm aware of how much of a hot take this might be, so I'm obviously exaggerating a little bit, but just stay with me. So just to provide a bit of context, I want to run through the releases of the last few heroes, and to keep things simple, I'm just going to focus on heroes released from Warmong and onwards. So starting with medjay. Is it medjay? Medjay. Everyone keeps calling him medjay, but I want to say medjay. Fucking anyway. So for a character with 2 stances and supposedly twice the amount of time in development to compensate for this, he is quite overly basic. Now, basic doesn't necessarily equal bad, although I actually really like how he physically snaps his staff into 2 axes. I was absolutely flabbergasted to see that there was no move that flows a stance switch into combat, like a Highlander or Shaolin. He's like 2 halves that don't make a whole. That's a fucking terrible analogy. What it's like, yeah, what it's like is a sandwich. Medjay is 2 pieces of bread, yeah, but he's got no filling. He just feels a little unfinished. Jarring segue into pirate, I think the majority will agree with me here that pirate is an absolute fucking abomination of a character. It's like Ubisoft put all their cruelty, malice, and will to dominate all gamers into one hero. So much so that she's been nerfed to a debatable degree of effect. She is like a character from For Honor 2. And then we've got like the opposite with the Kyoshin. So he was kind of like tepid on release. So tepid that Ubisoft did the quickest fucking patch ever to buff him. It was kind of crazy. I think you're sitting there like a fucking baboon. It was actually kind of crazy. I think it was roughly about a week after his release. So we compare this to Griffin, who actually took 6 months to receive a nerf. And this was after the community banded together in the most vocal display of toxicity in like the history of the game. Hell, my channel was built on taking the piss out of Griffin. You want a hot take? I'll give you a hot take right now. Griffin was no more OP than the last 3 heroes I mentioned, nor any of the reworks since. He was unjustly nerfed because he was too ahead of his time. Finally, the Warmong. I'll be honest, I can't really remember. I know that she dropped around the same time as the CCU, a day that I still regard as the darkest day in For Honor history. I think at the time she was hated for her feats and her lightspan, but now I think she's probably one of the fairer heroes in the game, although her feats have had like a slight nerf since release. So what does all this pointless rambling mean? It means that Ubisoft has an incredibly flawed design philosophy when it comes to new heroes. All the ones I've mentioned were in a state of unbalance upon release. This is because Ubi is so focused on churning new characters out regularly. It's like a breeding pit in the ground, seeing what half-baked abomination they can pull out the mud next. Just when the game's slowing down and losing momentum, they give it that quick shot of adrenaline just to keep it going for a few more months until the next hit. Rather than the heroes killing the game, it's the state of unbalance the heroes leave the game in that is killing it. Do you see the pattern here? salesman Precursor here. Boy, have I got a special deal for you. Hang on a minute. Hold up for a second. What is this, Ubisoft? 27th of July, you dropped this trailer?
People most recently had some problems with pirates. So if you don't want to walk the plank...
For a free weekend, 5 days after my Viking fashion video. Coincidence? I think not. Trying to pull the wool over snake oil salesman Precursor's eyes, were you? That's not very gentlemanly. Yes, there's a lot of different factors at play, like the frauder community. They're a bunch of whiny goblins. We're not all going to agree on everything, if anything. And yes, there's a lot of little balancing things that could go wrong. Okay, I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about fucking in-game design, but when every hero you release is unbalanced straight off the bat and requires changes immediately, don't you think you might be doing something wrong? No, it's the fans who are out of touch. Oh, that's good cup of tea, that is. Whoa. The most frustrating thing about this is that the new heroes are the biggest piece of new content that we receive regularly. So it would be fair to assume that this is what all the manpower and resources go into, rather than the creation of new maps, armor sets, or even like game modes. If we can agree that this is the case, why is it that the new heroes are always in absolute state upon release? You bet all your money on one horse and you lost the fucking race, sunshine. Like, what are you doing? I would also like to point out that all the heroes I have mentioned aren't really anything special mechanically. In fact, they are all almost made up of reused assets. Again, this isn't inherently bad. However, this feels extra lazy considering it is the focus for their content. The heroes all feel like Frankenstein's monsters stitched together from animations of other heroes. You know, if we were getting unique content on the reg with maps, etc., I would understand reusing assets to save time, but we're not. We're not getting that other content as well. Now, the biggest defense I see for what I'm going to refer to as Ubisoft sympathizers, I'm coining that term, it's that For Honor now has a skeleton crew, and we shouldn't be complaining because they're doing what they can. You need to up your standards and broaden your fucking horizons, okay? And I swear to fucking God, right? I swear to God, those idiots that say For Honor is dying. For Honor's been dying since it was released, according to these absolute creatures, man. It's either dying the slowest fucking death ever, or it's not actually dying. A dying game wouldn't have a dedicated player base that still comes back despite the tone deaf developers. And to be honest, it would have a lot more players if it wasn't for the terrible design decisions that they keep making. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not complaining about this hero or that hero being OP or needing a rework. Don't be coming at me with that, alright? It's the principle. New heroes have remained the only large, consistent content we get. They do not reflect that. They do not reflect the product of months of work from a gameplay standpoint. God, fucking hell, I'm fucking ranting there, boys. I need another sip of my fucking berry tea. Oh, that is fucking refreshing. Whew. I know that some people find medjay innovative because the staff stance switch, but aside from the animation, stance switching isn't anything new. Chain heavies and chain lights aren't anything new. Pirate as gun. Something which on paper would completely change how she would play, but it's just relegated to a bash. You can just spam the bash that fires the one shot in the chamber without reloading. That's fucking immersion breaking, boys. The last time we had a character that shook things up was probably like, what, Jormungandr being a stamina bully, and we all know what happened to her, or Nucius Traps. The last time we had a serious new mechanic from a hero. Everyone is starting to feel very similar now. There's not a lot of variation, especially with the way the reworked characters are going. Hello, Precursor from the future here. It's come to my attention that after recording this, Ubisoft intends on giving everyone a dodge attack, as if you needed further evidence to suggest that each hero is being assimilated into the hive mind. Man, I really want, like, fucking old For Honor back. Give me those original 12 heroes and the shitty peer-to-peer matchmaking. Oh, that'd be fucking sick. Anyway, back to the video. I'm like the same fucking old broken record here, man. Say it with me. Quality content. Quality content. When I say got no, you say fans. Got no, If you said it, well done. If you're going to put all your resources into making heroes, make them innovative, make them balanced, make them sharp, make it snazzy, okay? Now, it sounds like I'm bashing Medjay, but I have just used him as a spear point because he's new. Aesthetically, I actually do really like him. He feels fresh, and mechanically, I do actually think he's, like, okay. As I said, I think he just needs a little extra. He's just very average, which I would say is kind of a nice change. It just feels like Ubi is falling into a bit of a pattern with heroes, and it's becoming incredibly more unlikely that we'll see anything unique in the roster. Like, I'm actually kind of nervous as to where they're going at the moment. The game's just getting, like, messier as time goes on. 6 years! 6 years, and you only made it worse! Anyway, I'm done now. Got myself all fucking pooped out on this one, to be honest. Time for a sippy sip from the juice box and a fucking cereal bar, I think. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. I've got some other videos like this up on my channel. Go watch them if you haven't. In fact, go watch them again if you have watched them. Boost my fucking numbers up. I'm off now anyway. See you later.